Have you ever felt like the world just wasn't built for someone like you? Like everyone else is too loud, too assertive, too outgoing, and you're just quietly fading into the background? If you're someone who doesn't always have the right words, you feel more deeply, you need more space. Maybe you're wondering, am I too quiet? This is your reminder today. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. In a culture that constantly celebrates the spotlight, it's easy to feel invisible in the shadows. But today I want to talk about how standing in the shadows is really a place of strength, and how being quiet can be your superpower. Hi friends, I'm Mary Beth. Welcome to Peace in Progress. This is the first video in my series of Gentle Pep Talks. So I've always been a quiet person. I'm an introvert and I am a little shy and quiet around new people or in new situations. Not all introverts are quiet, but most introverts, we tend to be more quiet and shy. But that doesn't mean we don't have good ideas. It doesn't mean we can't solve problems or be smart or be good leaders. It just means we have to try a little harder to get our message out there. Some people just love to talk. They love to hear the sound of their own voice. And then they ask you, why are you so quiet? You need to speak up more. You need to participate more. I heard that so much when I was in school and in job situations. But quiet people are thinking and observing, formulating and contemplating, or just letting our minds rest. We don't feel the need to be talking all the time. Quiet people usually don't like small talk. I don't like it when I'm in a situation with people I don't really know and it gets quiet and then we all have to talk about the weather. Like, can't we just be quiet? Is silence a bad thing? Now, I don't want this video to sound like a long rant against loud people or sound like I just don't like extroverts. That's not true at all. I respect everyone being different and everybody is valid. But it is true that loud people, well, they're loud. So they tend to get their voices out there more. They tend to get promoted in their careers sooner. They are the ones who get to make the decisions a lot of times, even in like a family situation or a friend group situation. The louder people are the ones who get to decide where we're going or what we're doing. But I think it's important that quiet voices are heard too. So before we get into talking about how being quiet can be a superpower, I wanted to talk about some of the misconceptions that people have about quiet people. And the first one is that quiet people are boring. They must be boring because they're not talking. They're not telling us about themselves or telling us about all the cool things they do. And of course, this isn't true. I would say introverts, quiet people in general, are at least as interesting as other people, if not more interesting. We spend a lot more time on our own, learning and reading and creating. We like to travel. We like to try new things. We have a lot to talk about if people take the time to get to know us so that we feel comfortable talking about ourselves and things like that, things that we like to do. Another common misconception is that quiet people aren't smart. Now, you can't generalize all quiet people, but usually the quiet people are the smartest people in the room. Our society views talking as a way to display intelligence. You can talk about facts and give your opinions, but that doesn't necessarily equal intelligence. Many brilliant people were quiet, like Albert Einstein, Abraham Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi. These are just a few examples of quiet, shy people who were brilliant and great leaders. To say that quiet people aren't smart because they don't talk nonstop is just silly. Another assumption that people make about quiet people is that if you're not talking, then you're not having fun. Something must be wrong, or you're antisocial. Loud people don't understand how we don't feel the need to say every thought that pops into our head. So how do I deal with being a quiet person in a loud person's world? And how can you turn being a quiet person into your superpower? Here are some concrete ways that being quiet is an asset. The first one is emotional intelligence. Quiet people tend to observe more, think more, understand themselves better. We understand our own emotions, and we're often empaths, so we understand other people's emotions too. When we choose to interact with people, we can have deep, meaningful conversations. We can give people our attention and make them feel seen and heard. And that leads into the next one, which is communication. Because we are good listeners, we're good at communicating. We're good at understanding people. We pay attention to details because we're always listening and processing. When you're not talking, you're able to take in the information and process it and give the other person advice or just somebody to listen. Creativity is another asset that quiet people usually have. Creativity is another asset. And that's especially true for me. I've said that many times on my channel. I've been a creative person ever since I was a child. And way back in the 80s, we didn't have iPads and iPhones and laptops and everything else to keep us constantly entertained. We had to make our own fun. And also, I'm an only child, so I didn't have a built-in playmate or anybody to entertain me all day. So I had to make my own puppets and drawings and games, and I used to play with a tape recorder. That was fun for me, but it really made me think and be creative, and the fact that I like being alone. I mean, I have no problem spending a whole day just on my own, doing whatever I feel like doing, creating things. And I really think of that as part of my superpower. Quiet people, introverts, make good leaders. I touched on that earlier in this video. Abraham Lincoln, Mahatma Gandhi, Rosa Parks, Eleanor Roosevelt. They were all shy, quiet, probably introverts, but they gave so much to this world as leaders and visionaries. Very important people are often introverts. I could probably list 5 more assets of being a quiet person, but I'll stop there for now. But when you put these all together, the creativity and the communication, the listening skills, how we feel deeply, it all adds up to a really incredible person. And that person is you. It's not always easy. Being shy, needing to recharge, needing to withdraw a bit from the chaos sometimes. It can be challenging. But those same traits are what make you observant and reflective and aware of everyone and everything around you. If you're a quiet person and you've never really seen that as a positive thing, then I hope this video has gotten you thinking about how it isn't always bad to be quiet, how there actually are a lot of things that are better when you're a quiet person. So it's not about changing yourself or fixing yourself or growing out of being shy. It's about embracing that and just being the best person that you can be. And if you want to explore that idea a little more, I have a few journal prompts for you. The first one is, when was a time that being a quiet person actually helped you? This can be in a work situation or a family situation. It can be big or small. Something like a time that you were there for someone when they wanted to talk and they knew they could trust you. They knew that you would listen. Or maybe in a work situation, you were in a meeting, and while everyone else was talking and arguing, you quietly put the winning plan together. So think about a time in your life where being quiet was actually a positive thing. And the next one is, what strengths do you have that louder people might not? And this would be specific to you. Not all quiet people are exactly the same. Maybe you can think of things about yourself that are strengths that loud people, extroverted people just don't have, and use those as a positive way to think about yourself. And lastly is, when do I feel most comfortable with myself? And this one might seem obvious at first. You're probably going to say either in a one-on-one situation with somebody or maybe when you're by yourself. But think about times when you just really feel comfortable and try to put yourself in those situations as often as you can. You can't always control having to be in large crowds or big groups, especially if you have a big family or you have an office job where you have meetings and group activities. But just remember, one-on-one relationships or small groups are usually where we thrive. I know I do. I always feel more comfortable when it's just me and one or two other people. So writing that down and thinking about it are good ways to remain positive and to set up positive situations for yourself so that you aren't awkward or uncomfortable more often than you need to be. Like if you go to a big party, seek out a side room or a place on the front porch where a few other people are gathering. There are probably introverts too. So I hope you'll spend some time exploring these ideas in your journal and getting in touch with your quiet side and feeling good about yourself. So like I always say, take care of yourself. I'm planning to make more videos in this series, so I really hope you'll subscribe and come back for some more gentle pep talks. And I hope to see you next time.